Okay, and we'll welcome Deacon Deno from Triumph Factory Racing, our winner tonight for SMX Next. So, wow, I don't know if this is sunken yet for you, but last year, was this your debut last year?
Yeah, it was.
It was in P14. Fast forward to now. What's this feel like?
Feels insane, doing it in front of this big crowd. It's crazy. Just looking up on the gate's insane, and I've made a bunch of gains in 1 year, so to do that, it feels good, and to get the win, it feels insane.
Dan.
Dan Beaver, NBC Sports. Can you comment on winning on this stage? This is easily one of the biggest stages, but you've also got a lot of the amateur people that are here. I mean, this is a stepping stone. What was it like to win under the lights here?
I'm stoked to watch just all these guys like Tomac. He's done it 8 times. It's a special place, and it feels insane to do in front of the crowd, and with how much history is behind this place, it feels really good.
And then to do it on a Triumph that doesn't have the same the same amount of development as a lot of the other brands out there. Does that speak to the bike or to your development?
The bike's really good. We've been working our butts off. The whole team, the past 3 years or so, they've been doing it. I'm new to it, but they worked really hard, and we're progressing real fast.
You told Johnny.
Johnny Hopper with Moto Unfiltered. Do you mind if I ask how old you are?
I'm 17.
Okay. With the SMX Next program, it is a good grooming. I was in the meeting earlier yesterday, and you guys have a lot of good information. But being in a stadium that is Daytona, and there's 50,000 people, how is it that you manage a lead when you have a rider like Gordon behind you? Are you getting arm pump? Are you breathing? I mean, what's going through your head?
I mean, honestly, no, I don't really focus behind me. I focus ahead, so I'm not really worried about who's behind me or what's going on, and just ride my race.
Are you racing tomorrow, or do you have the day off now?
No, I'm skipping out on the amateur stuff, just focusing on the future stuff for now, and see where it takes us after that.
Originally, what was the intention of racing RCSX? Is it a nostalgic event for you, or is it about seat time and getting ready for that next SMX race?
I think it's just the track is a lot different from what we've been practicing. We practice, obviously, a full-size Supercross track, so to come here, and last year I think it was like a corner track. It wasn't a great track, so to see that the next day, it's not something I'd look forward to doing right now, especially when I'm practicing full-time Supercross. So I just focus ahead to my next event, and that's Birmingham, and that's the one that counts. So I think that's what I'm looking forward to.
You told our broadcast team a few weeks ago, I believe at Anaheim too, that one of your goals this year was to stay calm, stay focused, mentally stay in your lane. Do you feel like you've been able to achieve that? And if so, has that been a factor into success like tonight?
Yeah, definitely. I've focused on myself a lot, focused on my program a lot, and mentally I'm in a good spot right now. I'm stoked where I'm at, and
Great. Okay, any more questions for Deacon? Great. Congratulations. Thank you, Deacon Deno. All right, Pierce Brown, who will retain that points lead, his 6th podium, 20th top 5 finish. Pierce, how do you feel about leaving this event after such a productive day and, of course, again, carrying that points lead after this is a very difficult round for many?
Yeah, overall it was a solid day for me. I had a pretty good qualifying P2 in both sessions and then won the heat. Ended up third in the main, and it was a battle. So I'm happy to come out with a points lead and another podium too. So far this season's gone great, and feel really good. Just gonna keep on doing my thing and take this momentum into Indy.
It has to be validating to back up the win last weekend with another podium finish. So well done. We invite our media to hop into the conversation whenever. Dan?
Dan Beaver, NBC Sports. We talked before talked on press day, and a solid finish is kind of what you were looking for. Mm-hmm. Podium, that definitely counts as a solid finish, and more importantly, you've got the red plate still. How valuable was this race?
Yeah, a podium was honestly my goal coming into the weekend. Another win would have been great, obviously, but it was one of those tracks in the main I struggled with. Like, I felt great all day, and then in the main, as the track started breaking down, I kind of was all over the place with line choices and everything. So overall, I mean, I'm more than happy to walk away with a podium. And, yeah, stacking the momentum from last weekend, too, feels really good.
And then the way you got the podium, riding a smart race, keeping your head while others kind of fell to the wayside. Does that bode well for the next several rounds?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, tonight was one of those nights you had to be in it to be on the box, and I was in it. I mean, I rode around fifth for most of the race, and then a bunch of guys just started making mistakes, and I was there to capitalize. So made it easy on me, but then again, you have to be there, you know, and that was the name of the game tonight, and I feel like that's going to be really crucial next weekend too with the Triple Crown. So overall, I think my head's in a good spot, and bike's good, body's good, and I'm excited.
And then we'll kind of keep it going. Next week is a more traditional track again, and then you kind of ride that out for the rest of the season with almost no breaks. Are you happy to be back on a traditional track and to have survived this race, which that's a great finish?
Yeah, oh yeah, for sure. This race is always one of the races that things could get wild, you know. It's not a traditional Supercross track. It's a hybrid outdoor, and it gets gnarly. It's probably like the toughest race of the year, if I'm being honest. So a podium tonight, it's great. We're gonna be back in the stadium next weekend, and that's gonna be what the rounds will look like from here on out. So I'm excited. I feel really good in the stadium formats, and I think next weekend will be really good.
While we're looking ahead to future races, of course, next weekend being a Triple Crown like we've discussed, does that affect how you guys will be preparing throughout the week at all?
Yes and no. I mean, the program's going to switch up a little bit. We're going to have 310s probably both days of riding just to get those fast switch like motos back. And it's going to be another hectic weekend for sure. Triple Crown always gets pretty gnarly. So that's going to be another one. You got to be in it. And 3 starts is going to be the main goal. So we're going to work on that this week, for next weekend. And honestly, I think we're in a good spot with the bike, the team. So there's not going to be much change going on this week. It'll just be kind of doing the laps and staying fresh.
What about the fan response? So not to go too much in the past to the win last weekend, but as you come to Daytona, did you experience maybe even warmer fan response just with your points lead, with that win? And if so, what was that like?
To be honest, I've tried not to think or look into like the fan response. You know, there was a lot of unhappy people with the red light situation last weekend, but a lot of people were stoked too. It's one of those things, if you look into the comment section, it could get your head spinning. So I tried not to do that and just do my thing. And that's been what I've been really good at so far this season. So, I mean, like I said, we're going to keep doing me, and nothing else will change.
Great. Well, what you're doing is working. Pierce Brown, thank you. Okay, in his 11th career start, Cole, you managed to lay down the fastest lap of the main event in addition to gaining the positions. How do you feel about your overall speed and performance tonight in addition to the improvement since last weekend?
I would say I rode good. I'm not 100% happy with like the placing, but obviously I rode good. I had good speed, but I didn't have a good start, and I need to figure that out.
Gotcha. Well, welcome in questions from the media. Dan?
Dan Beaver, NBC Sports. Last week you didn't really get a chance to show what you could do with that turn 1 mix-up. Tonight you rode exceptionally well. Was that not a relief, but did it help that you're showing people that you're going in the right direction?
I don't know. I don't really care what people think. I ride like I know I can. I don't feel like anyone can touch me. So, I just need to figure out these starts, and I'll be away.
And last year, you were one of the few people that could actually hang with Hayden Deegan. Now, you're in a different class. You're one of the favorites to win this division. Does that mean anything to you, or is it really just taking it race by race?
Just taking it race by race, riding like I know I can, and you know if I do that, I know I'll be in it by the end of the championship.
You talk about wanting to work on the starts, and maybe you've touched on it a little bit here, but in what area of the starts are you going to be focusing on going back to the practice compound this week? Is this something that you're continuing to work on with the bike or otherwise?
I would say my starts were very good last year. I had a lot of good starts, but this year I guess they're just not as good. So I just need to find what I was kind of doing last year and repeat that, and it should be good.
Cool. Thank you, Cole. Thanks, Cole. Okay. Seth Hammaker. Seth, we know that you've told the media you love this place. Has it sank in winning in Daytona tonight? Is it as you had pictured it?
Yeah, so far it is. I feel like, just a dream come true to win here at Daytona. Obviously, any win is cool, but to do it here is super special. And, on a tough racetrack like this, it feels good to get it done and early in the season as well.
Great. Dan?
Dan Beaver, NBC Sports. You kind of made it a little bit harder on yourself with the qualification crash. Was there a moment that did that set you back at all?
Maybe for the heat race a little bit, because actually when I crashed in qualifying, I wanted to get back up and do a few laps just to kind of shake that one off, but my bike was just too bent up to do so. And then, that wait, in between qualifying and the night show it felt extra long tonight. I just wanted to get out there and put that behind me, but it's always tough to bounce back from that, and I think that's what makes this win so much more special, to overcome that, put it behind you, and just focus on what you need to and execute when it matters the most. And I was able to do that tonight in the main event. So, this one feels just really good.
And as with Cole, you came into the season as one of the favorites to dominate this. You were Ricky Carmichael's pick to win the race. You also didn't get to show your speed last week because of that early incident. How important was this race to reestablish?
Yeah, it was definitely important to kind of get the, ball rolling. I, fourth last weekend wasn't the end of the world, but it's not ideal. But it's always nice to get through the first race. And then this week just kind of went back to work and worked on things that, I was needing to be better at. And I didn't really ride the best last weekend in the main, but I feel like I showed up here kind of more fired up and ready to, get this season kind of going, and got it off onto the right start, here at Daytona. Feels good.
Seth, we know that some racers, when they have so many family and friends at an event where it almost feels like a home race, which you did this weekend, some guys will say it really fuels them. Others will say that it can be kind of a distraction. So how was it for you? How did it lend itself to your racing tonight, if at all?
Yeah, it's always nice to have the support from the fans and family and friends coming that, you don't get to see, very often. And it's tough because you want to spend time with them, but at the same time, you're here to focus and do your job. So sometimes, throughout the day, I kind of like to find time to sit down and talk with them. But come the night show and, kind of leading into that, it's time to just, get your game face on and, kind of block out the distractions, I guess. But, I always enjoy having them here for sure.
Johnny?
Johnny Hopper with Moto Unfiltered. Congratulations, Seth. It was just yesterday that Ricky Carmichael said that you were going to win the race.
Nice.
And I don't know if it was a premonition, but here you are, winning the race. How important was the start? Because picking a line, there was huge holes right after, and then those ruts were about 30 feet long. How important was that for you to try to get out front early?
Yeah, it was super important. That was one of the main things that I was thinking about heading up to that main event. I knew a good gate pick was going to be crucial, but honestly, there was not really one good gate out there, so everybody had to kind of overcome that, the big hole right in front of the gate. So just tried giving it a little bit extra off the grate to kind of make sure I boosted over that hole a little bit more so I didn't get as caught up in that. And I executed that perfectly and got the shift and charged into that first corner. So tried to stay out of the chaos. But, I mean, this race, I don't know, any race it's nice to get a whole shot, right? But this one to get clear track and to kind of ride your lines is super, super nice.
Steve Schweitzer with Alaska Press. Seth, you guys had a great start tonight, and obviously that was an advantage right from the beginning. You didn't have to battle with anybody, and were able to build an interval pretty quickly. Can you do that 3 times in a row next week?
Yeah, I think so. Just need to put yourself in a good position from qualifying to get good gate picks, and Triple Crown's even that much more important to get hole shots. You know, you have three races that count. And I think, with execution, when it counts, I can, pull a hole shot. So hopefully I can get 3 of them next weekend.
Great. Any more questions for Seth?
Seth, can you walk us through the back part of the track where there was the big double, then you triple, and that inside, that rut got basically to your handlebars? Were you trying to cover your line going to the inside there, or did that just end up being the fastest line?
Yeah, I think we talked about taking that outside, before the main event, but I think that was kind of really only if I was going to be behind somebody that just to switch up a line, because they were pretty even in speed and time-wise. So I was kind of going in to start in the deep part, and then I would hop out of it to go to the outside to miss the rut coming out through that single, just to stay out of the deep stuff. But yeah, that 353 after the double, it was really hard to see that face too. The shadow is like really, really bad there for some reason. But some ruts would send you like flat, some ruts would send you high, so you'd over jump it or case it. So it's a tricky track.
All right. Congrats, Seth. Thank you. We'll see you in Indy. Okay, Ken Roczen. Ken, in a race and conditions that were ever evolving, talk about how you had to adapt and evolve throughout this race as well.
Yeah, I think overall I wasn't quite the fastest out there. In the beginning, I was trying to search for some lines, like where Eli passed me going in that split lane, going inside, outside. I did that the first lap and almost lost it, and I hated that rut, so I kept sticking to outside, inside. And that's where he ended up getting me. So I learned from that, wasn't stressing about it too much, and really just tried to learn from those guys when I got past, not stressing about it. I kept on them pretty good for most of the time, and I actually didn't run the paddle, which in the sand, it's just you don't have that kind of forward momentum. So I was struggling there a little bit. Anytime you launch that little wall jump right there, and if you don't land in a perfect rut on the downside, I just would just stick and stop, and then you get no momentum through there. So I feel like I really had to be better through there. But that's just a personal preference. I still think I made the right decision with my tire, just because I feel like I can ride the whole track better with what I was on. But then again, it hurts you in some other areas. I just can't deal with it as well, so I stuck to what I knew and what I liked. And towards the end, it was nice. I was still there the entire time, but unfortunately, Jordan Smith, he didn't. It was just very bad timing. I caught up to those guys in the sand section, and when you jump that wall jump, there's only one way to go because it has that little bend. Like, there's only one rut. So he was right there, and I launched it, and I basically landed going left, and the track was going right. So I just lost so much time there in the end, which was a bummer, because I was just ready to either trying to capitalize on a mistake if it was made, because I was close enough to where I was able to put up a fight, and that ended up not being the case anymore. So lonely third, but I'm very happy to be on the podium.
Questions from the media. Johnny.
Kenny, speaking about the tire, sometimes I can miss things, but I could have swore that you guys cut that MX-34 to make it look like a hybrid scoop tire. And I was thinking maybe that tire was falling apart, which was why it was harder to. But did you guys, in fact, cut it?
Yeah, I had a back cut tire for sure. We do that actually, or I do that fairly often over the last few years. I try to stay away from the paddle tire. I can't turn the bike. It stands me up, and the dirt was, for the rain that we got, it was pretty hard packed, because anytime you hit the straightaway in Daytona, it's basically grass. It wasn't deep. But the sand section is so brutal, and the berm before where I had to, anytime I would open up the throttle with the back cut, you don't have that forward momentum, so you kind of have to wait for what is the bike going to do, because if I lean it over too far and I'm not getting the forward momentum, I am going to tuck the front and crash. So it just wasn't ideal there, and that sand was really deep. And especially after launching the wall, when you land right there, the paddle tire just kind of shoots you forward and burns a straight rut through the sand where I'm kind of like wishy-washy, you know, and it takes up a lot of momentum. So in that scenario, it wasn't the best, but I still am. I would pick that tire again.
Thank you for the explanation. This track was incredibly difficult, and you are such a finesse rider. I saw an incident across the start where you guys are like going triple into the wall, and you somehow saved it.
I got sketchy.
Was that something where, you know, your heart stopped? Did you forget to breathe? Did you get arm pump afterwards? How did you recoup and push forward?
No, I didn't get arm pump or anything like that. But in that very moment, I was like almost going down. You know, I just kind of got cross-rotted a little bit, and that was one of the very. Other than that, I was pretty good for the whole main event. Like I didn't have too many sketchy moments, but that right there was where it could have gone very differently. And that was actually the least favorite part of the track for me, just because you come hammering in. There was so much speed, especially in practice, because they were all rutted up. And when it's nighttime like this, you don't see how deep the ruts are. Like you don't see the bottom of, because you have tear-offs on and everything. So you're kind of picking a rut, just hoping that it's fine. But they do get insane kickers in them last time. So compared to the years past, the track had a lot more rhythm lanes in the past, slower track. And it's cool like this to mix it up. This was like Hunter said, a pretty simple track when it comes to rhythm lane. There wasn't really a rhythm lane actually, but when it comes to the jumps. So different style of track. I enjoyed it. Just that one section with how fast it was. And they were kind of like just short little offset, like braking bumps in the end with ruts in them, and you're hauling ass right there. So I did get sketchy. But yeah, after that, you know, I caught myself and then just kind of kept going, but it was not fun for a second.
Dan Beaver, NBC Sports. You were pretty disappointed in Houston at the last Triple Crown that we had, winning the first feature and then not doing what you wanted in the next two. But you got the podium anyway. Next week, a win at Glendale. How important is next week going to be another Triple Crown to kind of sweep the podium there?
Yeah, over the last few weeks, I'm still doing some testing because I feel like we can get better and more consistent, but I have been getting pretty good starts when it counts the most. So I'm hoping to bring that into the Triple Crown next week, because that's obviously more than half the battle. And so I'm focusing on that. Having said that, I know that points-wise, like I can't let these guys be in front of me all the time. Having said that, it's a good thing that Eli won and Hunter was second, so I only lost a couple of points overall. But I'm gonna have to get on that, you know, try to change something about it. Doesn't really mean that I'm gonna do anything different, but I'm aware of the situation, but I'm not stressing about it. We still got a lot of racing to go, but I have to just start, you know, getting a couple wins here and there for sure.
Michael Lindsay, Valmex. Kenny, you mentioned wanting to test a little bit more. In general, whenever we talk to the team or we're talking to you preseason, you've seemed very settled coming into this year. I joke with your suspension guy, Mark, about just being a click every once in a while. I know that the team tested a few engine specs with you off-season. You kind of stuck to what you knew. So when you say testing, I think with some of the other riders in conversations right now, some people picture really big items. What is it that you're kind of tweaking around with right now?
It's just for starts, nothing else. I'm not touching suspension. I haven't touched anything else in a year and a half or so maybe even longer. So it's purely about the starts and the feeling that I have and my clutch. And I just would like to see a little bit more consistency. Yeah, it's just because I'm just kind of picking my battle. Even during the week, like I'll pick something out to try and to test, but I just don't want to spin in circles, and I like sticking to something that I know. So I'm trying to be methodical and smart about it, and not just like, hey, we got to change something and do this and that and show up with something completely different. So I'm doing a little bit at a time, just seeing, and it's been paying off, because when the main event comes around in the last few races, I have been getting good starts. So yeah, I just kind of play by ear.
Are you a start map guy or all by feel?
Most of the time, my entire career, I have been all feel, and I have a start map probably for the last, how long have I been riding it? Few months or whatever. Not drastically different. It's just to help a little bit. But for the most of my career, I have been a guy that doesn't really like to mess with start maps too much. Just go off a feel.
Great. Ken, thank you. We'll see you in Indianapolis. Hunter Lawrence, this is another great round for you. A productive night, valuable points round as well. So ultimately, what are you taking from this one on to Indianapolis?
Just not much. Like, just obviously some things I want to address, and we've been trying to address over the past since January, first round. But all in all, yeah, gnarly track, good racing. I think for the crowd, it was a pretty fun night to watch.
It was. We'll open it up to questions from the media. Johnny.
Johnny Hopper with Moto Unfiltered. Do you wish that there was maybe 5 minutes more in the night? Because towards the end, you were catching Tomac.
Yeah, for sure. One thing that I guess I took for granted this weekend was not having the tower that you could look at over the finish line and see how much time you had left and the order and stuff. Even during qualifying, you got to look all at the far end. So I think, yeah, I'm pretty grateful for the tower we have in the stadium.
Dan Beaver, NBC Sports. And what did you find in those the closing laps? Was it just that you knew it was time to go, or did you find another line? What allowed you to close the gap?
Yeah, just given my max effort, I felt like I spent the whole first 15 minutes kind of compensating the bike and figuring where it's kicking and stuff like that, and where it's, washing and kind of already on a tough track that you have to compensate the track changing a lot, as well as kind of overcoming that. Just like every lap it's changing and trying to just figure that out.
Michael Lindsay, Vinyl MX. Hunter, Daytona is always just very different every year. It's the most changing Supercross track on the calendar from year to year. What were the challenges this year? It seemed like a bit faster track than maybe we've had in years past.
Yeah, I think that was maybe more square-edged, hard like bumps on exits of turns maybe than previous years. Obviously, we had a little rain yesterday, but like it wasn't that much. It didn't seem like for how dry the track was all day. So yeah, different track. I think the fact that it broke down made it obviously unique and good, like Daytona always is, because it was quite a simple track layout.
And the Dan Beaver again, the points lead's been razor thin, but you hang on to the red plate one more time. Each week that you leave the track with the red plate, does that add to the confidence? Does it add to your sense that this could be your season?
Yes and no. I mean, it's just a colored background, and I feel like who I am as a racer and who I am as a rider, it doesn't really change much whether I have the red or a white background.
Any other questions for Hunter? Okay. Thank you very much. Okay. Eli Tomac, again, just another huge congratulations here at Daytona from you. From the performance that we saw, is this a testimony to just how good you were feeling throughout the day today, or just in the main event? Just how good did it feel throughout this main?
Yeah, I felt like I really came around in the night show. I mean, I was good in practice, but I wasn't like feeling my best. It was okay. But then the heat race, I felt like I was on. And I knew I was going to be, right in the mix of this thing. So, put myself in a decent position. The gates were really, really bad. Probably the worst I've actually ever seen it. So that was really technical in that main. And then, I had to make some passes there. But the good thing about Daytona is there's no lack of passing opportunity, places to make up time, and try different lines and slingshot. And the sand was wild. And of course, the split lane offered some opportunity for some good moves there. So, and somehow I'm at 8 of these wins here.
Questions from the media.
Michael Lindsay from BioMX. Eli, 8 wins, I believe, 12 starts, but on 3 different manufacturers. You've been so complimentary of the Red Bull KTM team. They have been of you as well. Walk me through racing that bike tonight. It's different than anything you've raced before in terms of being on a steel chassis, a few other differences with the bike. Where did it stand out in these conditions at Daytona compared to some of the bikes you raced in the past? Where was it positive? Where was it good for you?
It was super planted in the sand. Like I felt like I was really good in the sand this evening, and was able to leverage the bike really well. So, and then I was also running the scoop tire, but the bike itself was very planted in the sand, and it had a different feel than I guess the stuff I've raced in the past.
And back to them being so complimentary. I mean, I know they want you back. The fans were electric for you tonight, as they always are here. They're cheering for the one more year. How are you feeling about it? I know it's still a ways off to make a decision, but again, how are we feeling about potentially keeping this going?
Yeah, no comment on that yet. The clock's ticking, but still racing good. I don't know. I'm not sure yet. We're still a little early for that.
Johnny.
Eli, Johnny with Moto Unfiltered. There was one particular section after the finish line, after the little wall, there was a small little kicker that you had to seat bounce to triple over, and then afterwards you were jumping almost into the corner. That seemed like a scenario where you were leaving Hunter, and then complimentary, the whoops. Looked like you were double clutching, and you were pretty much unstoppable in the whoops. Can you show how difficult that section was to hit every lap?
That was actually a line that I changed from practice. Is I wasn't doing the triple double there in practice, and then I saw a 250 do it in the heat race, and I was like, wow, that made up some good time. And then I went to that line. Some of the guys weren't doing that, and it was just good momentum. And then I also improved my whoops because I really wasn't. I was pretty off in the whoops from watching film in practice, so I was happy to get a better skim going in that main. But anyway, getting that triple double, launching the turn there, going the outside was good momentum into those whoops.
Dan Beaver, NBC Sports. Can we talk a little bit about dominance? First of all, you've got the second greatest winning streak or winning record at a track. The others that have 8 were all at Anaheim, where they have multiple events each year. And then secondly, what's it like to be compared to someone like Richard Petty, both of you guys being the greatest or at the top of your form, and then especially here?
Yeah, I'm just counting my blessings. To get 8 here it's hard to believe. So count my blessings on that, and it happens to be, it just fits me. It fits my riding style. It must be something with the soil and maybe what I grew up on with the sand and whatnot, and be able to just kind of open the throttle up and spray those sandy berms. So 8 is great. It's good.
And then the comparison to Petty?
He has 8 or 7?
He has 7.
He has 7? Well, it's nice to beat him.
Okay. Any additional questions for Eli?
But apparently 8 gives you a cracked tooth. I popped my tooth out lifting the trophy up, my front tooth. I'm looking like a pretty good hillbilly right now, so I'm trying not to smile.
Hey, you might fit in NASCAR country a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, I might run it.
Excellent. Congratulations, Eli. Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay, congratulations again, Ian Harrison, for another win for Red Bull Factory KTM. What's, to win here at Daytona, as you know, this one is it's elite, it's spectacular. So describe those moments immediately following the win with you and the team and what that felt like for the operation.
Yeah, it feels really good because we've basically followed Eli here for 10 years. In the 80s one, but I think the last time we won was 2016, I think, with Ryan. So to get this one again is really special. And I don't know what it is about this track, this race, that makes it something that you really want, And it's not only me, it's the entire team, and it's every team out there. So to get it tonight, and especially see Eli, I was wondering if he was going to be able to do it again, and he did, and yeah, he was amazing. It was great.
He was unreal. Well, questions from the media. We have one back here.
Oh, Michael Lindsay, Vinyl MX. Ian, I'm sure you heard it on the podium. All the fans want one more year out of Eli. I know I've asked you personally, and you have mentioned that Eli does have an option for next year. Have we started offering more? Have we started doing anything to convince this man to come back another year? Because clearly you're happy, he's happy. How do we go for ET 3 times 3 and go for 9 wins?
I think one more year, right?
One more year.
Of course, I'd like to, but he is in a title fight, and I know when they get in these situations like this, there's a lot to focus on, and especially this time of year and the heat of the battle and everything, the weight of it all can sometimes be a lot. So we haven't. They know that anytime they want to speak to us, we'd be ready to move forward. He's been nothing but spectacular, and it's been great.
I'd like to ask you about Aaron Plessinger. I'm sure we're going to be circling back to Eli Tomac and eventually Prado as well. But Aaron Plessinger, we're starting to see just glimmers of him in qualifying. And he's openly discussed how he says he maybe not be a great qualifier. But we're seeing him at points in qualifying top the charts. So, what is lending itself to that this year with AP?
Yeah, Haley, I'm glad you mentioned that. Aaron, I see the same. The last 2 weeks, it seems to really be coming together, and especially tonight, finishing a strong 6. And Savachi's been riding amazing, so he was just behind him. They had their own battle going. But at the end of last year, when he struggled so much, it always takes a little bit of time to get back. And we had some changes to the bike, and they took a little bit longer for him. I wouldn't say he was completely unhappy, but there was something he was looking for, and we couldn't quite pinpoint it. But I think we're getting really close now. And if we have any race that's really technical, if we have a mud race, I'd put my money on him.
Johnny.
Ian, Johnny Hopper with Moto Unfiltered. Walking around the paddock, I see some teams that they seem like they're carrying some extra stress. And every time I'm in the KTM tent, you guys just seem like you guys are having such a good time. And then talking with the riders, they're not chasing their tail. They're pretty much riding what they brung. Is that something that you've instilled in everyone that is working with you, or has that always been the fact?
No, there's definitely years we chasing our tail, but it seems that that this year we had a really, really good off season. We put in a lot of laps and quality laps, and we also worked with the Austrians on a new suspension package over the summer last year, and all of that stuff just lined up perfectly, and it really seemed to move the trajectory of the team in the right direction. And it's been great. And then also having an older team, if I could use that term for now, without Julian there, they seem to be a lot more calm. And then that kind of just goes through the whole team. So it's been really special, actually.
Dan.
Dan Beaver, NBC Sports. Halfway through the season, you're still the only team with multiple wins. If you could have that one bad race back where Tomac crashed in the first lap, you'd have a dominant lead. In the category of Fire Forge's steel, though, having this razor-thin points battle, does that make you guys even stronger?
I don't know about even stronger, but I think when you have a really, really tight points battle like this, it keeps the pressure on everyone. And the pressure is something that is definitely hard to deal with, no matter how you look at it for the team, the rider, for whoever. And so it kind of equals the playing field a little bit. So I think those 4 guys we see up there every week, it's not going to be easy. And like Eli mentioned last week, it's hard to get a big points grab when the same 4 guys are up there every week. And you can't make a mistake. If you make a mistake, then you can quickly lose them. So which we did in Houston. But we just got to take it week by week and do the best we can to be the best in the main event, and then and see how it all plays out.
Ian, you were kind enough to give us some insight on this on Race Day Live on the broadcast today. But in regards to Jorge, what is the likelihood, just for the record, that we could see him next weekend for Indianapolis?
I think it's quite high. He actually rode this week. He did about 15 laps, but he still had a little bit of pain in his chest, and it's not from any broken bones or anything. It's a lot to do with muscles. So he's going to give it a go on Monday, and then if that goes well, then he'll do Wednesday, and then he'll be in for the next one. So I'm hoping that's the way it goes. If it doesn't, then he would miss that one. Then we'd have a week off, and I'd say I'm 100% sure he'll be back for the following.
Well, that is great to hear. Hopefully we see him back sooner rather than later, but it's good to hear the progress. Okay, if there are no further questions for Ian, thank you very much. Congratulations.
Thank you.